Well, pets are often considered to be part of the family, so it makes sense that people want to take their animals with them when they go places.
But more and more, we're hearing reports of pets being in restaurants and grocery stores, and that the owners are claiming that their animals are there for emotional support.
And Jeremy Harris decided to find out what the law says about pets in public. Jeremy, only trained service dogs for the disabled are really allowed to be in a place like a grocery store, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mark and Shauna. The law says that pets are not allowed past the door of any grocery store or restaurant, but I found that many pet owners think their pets are welcome inside when that's just not the case.
Then you give it to her, okay?
5-year-old Saxton's dog, Samantha, is much more than just a pet.
He's come a long way from where he used to be. It's exciting.
Saxton is autistic and often runs from his parents, a problem common to kids with autism. He is also prone to seizures.
By January, they had progressed, so he was having 100 or more a day.
And give her some lovies.
But nothing was helping the myoclonic seizures. We tried so many medications.
But since getting Samantha, his seizures are almost completely gone. And after extensive training, she now accompanies him almost everywhere he goes. While Samantha is highly trained to behave in public, Saxton's mom, Carrie, says they've had issues with non-trained dogs acting out around Samantha in the grocery store.
A lady had brought her dog into the store, and the dog lunged and started snarling at Samantha. And for somebody to bring their untrained dog into a store where there's lots of people is frustrating beyond words.
Frustrating, she says, because Samantha isn't just a well-behaved dog.
To train one of these dogs, we're talking about hundreds of hours of training.
Samantha was trained at Ty the Dog Guy service dog training in Sandy, where they spend months preparing service dogs to not only help a disabled person, but also to behave in public.
Good. When you see a service dog, treat it as if it was a wheelchair. You wouldn't go up to somebody in a wheelchair and ask to pet the wheelchair, ask to take a picture with the wheelchair.
I had my 3 children with me in their little cart.
Amy Schofield says she had a run-in with a dog and its owners at this Harrisville Walmart.
Somebody was walking around a dog and it urinated on a shelf, and when I confronted her and asked her what kind of service dog it was, she told me that it was an emotional service dog. I then explained to her that the ADA says that emotional service dogs are not allowed in the store.
Schofield says she called for a manager hoping the dog would be kicked out.
They were more upset with me, and I actually took the time to go find a manager of the area and explain it to her, and all I got was, hate that when that happens.
We contacted Walmart and they said they were looking into what happened and said their store policy is to allow service dogs inside. But that begs the question, can't any dog be considered a service dog, like an emotional service dog?
Touch. Good.
Don't lie. Don't tell people that it's an emotional service dog when it's a pet.
You cannot take these animals into a grocery store. You can't take them into a restaurant.
Aaron Kinney is a lawyer with the Disability Law Center and says emotional support animals or pets are not protected under the law like a service animal for someone with a disability.
The fraudulent service animal, the fraudulent emotional support animal, it really does erode the rights of the legitimate people with disabilities who have legitimate support animals.
Follow the law. It's very simple.
And if that's not clear enough, here is the actual law. The Americans with Disabilities Act says a service animal is a dog that is trained to do work or perform a task for someone with a disability. It also says emotional support animals do not qualify as service animals.
If they say it's an emotional support dog or a dog that does not do physical things, then they should ask the dog to leave.
And maybe the business owners are worried about offending disabled people by asking them about their dogs. But for Carrie and Saxton, they say they welcome the ADA-approved questions of, is that a service dog and what service does it provide?
What is your service dog for?
Saxton.
Because they say it helps protect them from people who try to pass off pets as service animals.
And it also kind of undermines our dog. I mean, we paid thousands of dollars for our dog, and it really does perform a service. And when these other people are bringing their pets in and trying to pass them off, no one's going to believe that our service dog really is, you know, it puts a bad taste in people's mouths for any dog coming into a store. Girl, Sam, this way.
So what can you do if you're in a grocery store or restaurant and you see an animal that you do not think is providing a service for a disabled person? Well, you can contact the manager of that store, ask them if that dog is a legitimate service animal, ask them to check on that. County health departments also will investigate this. If you take a picture and send it to them, they will look into it and see if there's any health code violation about having untrained service animals or untrained pets inside of a grocery store or restaurant. Mark and Shauna, back to you.
So Jeremy, do these emotional service dogs wear the vests and have all the same decorum as the regular service dogs?
You know, interestingly enough, Shauna, there really is no regulation about service vests. There's nothing in the Americans with Disability Act that says a service animal has to have a vest on. So that's just kind of anybody can throw a vest on their dog if that's what they want. You can buy them online.
Interesting. All right, Jeremy, thank you very much.
I learned something in
I
that
did
report.
too. I
for
did
sure.
too.